listen, I know I'm late, but I just finished taping my show. What's going on?
Well, I had to come out to make some phone calls, but just before that, Paul Martin was finishing up with Karen.
Then the DA could be cross-examining her right now.
Yeah. She's been under such a lot of pressure. I hope she can take it.
I just got a call from a viewer who said that she saw someone beating up Katrina Carr the other night who was tall and thin.
Did you call Ed Hall about that?
Yeah, just now.
And the only description she gave was that he's tall and thin?
Yeah, that's right. But, tall and thin does describe Talbot Huddleston, doesn't it?
Well, now, Mrs. Wolek, it's difficult to decide just which part of your fascinating testimony to cover next, but I'll do my best.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Martin. Mr. Callison, we do not need your editorial comments.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Isn't it true, Mrs. Wolek, that shortly after you arrived in Llanview, you were followed here by Mark O'Dane?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness's relationship with Mark O'Dane is in the far distant past and certainly is irrelevant to the case.
It is not in the least bit irrelevant.
Now, in light of the testimony the witness has just given, Mr. Martin, I'm going to overrule your objection. Witness will answer the question.
Yes, it's true. After I came here, Marco came shortly thereafter to Llanview.
Well, that's not what I asked you, Mrs. Wolek. Isn't it true that he followed you here with the express purpose of getting even with you for what you did to him in Denver?
Well, why are you so anxious about Karen? I mean, she only has to testify as to what she saw in the post office.
Well, it was tough for her, Pat, to admit that she knew Marco before she came to Llanview.
I'm sure Larry will understand that. I mean, she's only trying to help Viki.
Let's hope that Larry feels the same way.
I don't know why Marco came to Llanview.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Wolek. Surely you won't try to tell this court that your arrival in Llanview and the arrival of Mark O'Dane shortly thereafter was nothing more than a wild coincidence.
No, well, I guess it wasn't.
How shortly after Marco got here did he contact you?
A few days.
And he didn't tell you anything about why he'd followed you here?
It was a long time ago. I don't really remember.
Well, let's try to refresh your memory. Now, when Mark O'Dane first got here, did he remind you of the fact that it was your testimony that sent him to prison?
Yes, he did.
And would you say that he felt bitter about that?
I guess so.
Bitter enough to try to get even with you?
Object.
Objection sustained.
Mrs. Wolek, how often did you see Mark O'Dane in Llanview, I mean?
Saw him a few times at Tony's place where I used to work.
And did he ever ask you to resume the relationship you had had with him in Colorado?
No, he did not.
In other words, he was more or less willing to forgive the past, let bygones be bygones. Is that right?
More or less.
Well, just a moment ago, you admitted that he felt quite bitter about your having sent him to prison.
Yeah, well, I guess that was when he first came here.
Oh, but after that, he mellowed and you became good friends again.
No, we did not become good friends.
Well, I'm getting just a little bit confused, Mrs. Wolek. What exactly was your relationship with Mark O'Dane here in Llanview?
We didn't have a relationship of any kind.
I see. Now, let's go back for just a moment to something you said earlier on the stand. I am referring now to the night of December 15th, the night Mark O'Dane was killed. You received a telephone call from Katrina Carr, and according to your testimony, Katrina Carr said to you, something's happened to him, meaning Mark O'Dane. Something really big. He's not going to bother anybody anymore. Have I quoted you accurately, Mrs. Wolek?
Yes, that's what Katrina Carr said.
Fine. Now, the first part of her testimony seems perfectly clear to me. Something's happened to him, something big. Obviously, she could have been alluding to Marco's death. But what did she mean when she said he's not going to bother anybody anymore?
Marco was in the habit of bothering people.
Bothering? How?
Oh, I don't know. He just say the wrong thing to them.
Uh-huh. Could you give us an example of what you mean?
Well, I can't.
Oh, come on now, Mrs. Wolek. There must be some example you can give us.
Well, he was on an ego trip. He was in the habit of putting people down.
He liked to put people down, Mrs. Wolek, or kick them when they were already down.
I really don't know what you mean.
Well, I expect you will soon enough.
Your Honor, Mr. Callison is playing some kind of little cat and mouse game, and quite frankly, I don't find it terribly entertaining.
And neither does the court, Mr. Martin. Mr. Callison, I cautioned you earlier not to drag your feet with this witness.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I've been awaiting some further documents which Miss Keegan has just brought in. May I have a moment?
Are you asking for a recess?
No, sir. Just a moment.
Very well. You have a moment.
Thank you, sir.
Paul, isn't there anything we can do?
So far, she's okay.
Yes, but you know where Callison is heading, don't you?
Yes, I sure know where he's heading.
Well, can't you stop him?
But the only thing I can do at this point, Viki, is just to slow him down a little bit. Unless he takes a wrong turn, he could, of course, but I certainly wouldn't hold my breath waiting for that.
Dr. Corelli, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, Mrs. Hopkins, I'm fine. I'm all right.
Well, when I saw you get up and hurry out of the courtroom, I thought for a minute that, well, you might be sick.
In a manner of speaking, I am sick. What's going on in that courtroom is turning my stomach.
Yes. All those things they're saying about your brother.
It's as if they've got his corpse in there and they're picking the bones clean. Why?
I know. Oh, I'm sure it must be very painful for you.
I'm not thinking about me, Mrs. Hopkins. I've got nothing to lose. It's the others who are going to be hurt by this.
Mm-hmm. Karen Wolek.
And everyone whose life was touched by Marco's. Do you think for 1 minute that Mrs. Riley was capable of his murder?
No, and you know I don't.
And yet she's already been deeply hurt. And Tina. I can't stand to see that kid in the courtroom. What's going to become of her?
I don't know. She's a lovely girl. I think you were right the other day when you said that she was one of the few people who could bring out the best in Marco. You know, I remember once when Marco was sick in our house, he had the flu. And Tina came over to the house and she brought some chicken soup.
Yes, I remember. I mean, he wrote me about that.
Yeah. Well, I got furious. And I gave Marco this lecture, but Marco got furious back and said, Mrs. Hopkins, Tina's one of the people in the world I could never, ever hurt. And I believed him. Yeah. I believe that he had the deepest feelings for that child.
Yes, I believe he did.
Dr. Crowley, I was just thinking that if Marco were here and could hear all the things that people were saying, it would be bound to prompt him to make great changes.
It's nice of you to say that, Mrs. Hopkins. I think we should get back inside.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Hello, Mrs. Hopkins.
Hello, Tony. Oh, This is Dr. Mario Corelli. Dr. Corelli is Marco Dane's brother. Oh, and this is Tony Lord, Viki Riley's half-brother.
Oh, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. What's happening in there?
Well, the district attorney was questioning Karen, but they've just taken a little break.
Well, maybe we should go back in there.
Yes.
Mr. Callison, you've had considerably more than a moment.
I'm ready to resume cross-examination, Your Honor.
Please, proceed.
Thank you. Mrs. Wolek, you stated earlier that during your first phone call from Katrina Carr, that you got the impression that she knew how and by whose hand Marco Dane had met his death. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And you stated before that you and Katrina Carr were not close friends. In fact, you emphasized that you were just casual friends. Is that also correct?
Yes.
Now, if Katrina Carr did indeed know how and by whose hand Marco Dane was killed, why did she telephone you, a casual friend, rather than a close friend? For that matter, why didn't she call the police?
I don't know. I guess it was because she, like I said before, was on drugs, and I guess she...
You guess what?
That maybe she felt that the police wouldn't believe her.
Because people on drugs are not known for their veracity, are they?
Object. Sustained.
Mrs. Wolek, do you know what Katrina Carr's relationship was with Marco Dane?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, well, obviously you're aware that Katrina Carr knew Marco Dane, hmm? But are you aware of how well she knew him?
No, I guess she knew him some, I assume.
You assume. You assume. Isn't it a fact, Mrs. Wolek, that you were well enough acquainted with Katrina Carr to know that she hated and despised Marco Dane? Isn't it a fact, Mrs. Wolek, that you know it was Marco Dane who supplied her with drugs? And isn't it a fact that you know why he supplied her with those drugs?
Your Honor, the witness is not on trial here. I mean, Mr. Callison is badgering this poor woman.
Now, Mr. Callison, surely you can get to your point in something other than an accusatory tone, huh?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Yes, indeed. Mrs. Wolek, are you aware of what Katrina Carr did for a living? Did you hear the question?
Yes.
Then would you tell this court, please, what Katrina Carr did for a living?
She had various jobs.
I'm talking about her primary source of income. Do you know what that was? Very well, Mrs. Wolek. I will present you with a few facts that I have just had verified. Katrina Carr was a common prostitute. And furthermore, she was in that capacity directly connected to Marco Dane because it was Dane who procured men for her. Now, do you deny knowing all that?
No.
Then why did you omit that when you took the stand in the
Because
first
I
place?
didn't think it had any bearing on what Katrina said.
Oh, I see. Well, I believe the state will be able to show that it has considerably more bearing than you seem to think. But we'll get back to Miss Katrina Carr in just a little bit. Right now, I'd like to ask you some questions about another acquaintance of yours, namely Talbot Huddleston. Now, Mrs. Wolek, after Katrina Carr's phone call to you that night, from which you concluded that she knew who had killed Marco Dane,
Yes.
you said that she turned up missing.
Yes.
You tried every way you knew how to locate her, but you were unsuccessful.
Yes, that's right.
Would you tell the court just what means you used in trying to locate Katrina?
I called several people. I went to various places.
What sort of places?
First, I went to her hotel where she was living, and I found out that she had moved.
And where else did you look?
Various bars where she had hung out.
I see. Now, you testified earlier that you and this person, this prostitute, were only casually acquainted. And yet you're telling us now that you knew her various hangouts.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel's implications are clearly out of order here.
Objection sustained. The jury will ignore Mr. Callison's last remarks.
Mrs. Wolek, after you received that phone call from Katrina Carr, did you tell anybody about it?
Yes, I told Talbot Huddleston.
Isn't it true that you and your husband are good friends of the defendant, Viki Lord Riley?
Yes, that's true.
Now, when the defendant was indicted, didn't you feel it incumbent upon yourself to tell your husband about that phone call?
Yes. Yes,
Then why didn't you?
I don't know. I guess I thought that
You thought he might wonder how you happened to be acquainted with a prostitute.
Yes, I guess so.
All right, but there were other people you could have told, weren't there? Or did you refrain from telling them for the same reason?
Yes, I guess I did.
Well, then that brings us to the question of why you were willing to tell Talbot Huddleston, doesn't it? Why did you turn to Talbot Huddleston?
I told Mr. Huddleston because I couldn't find Katrina, and I was very frustrated that I couldn't find her. I knew she had some information, and I didn't have any financial means, and I knew that he could hire a private investigator, so I worked for him, and I went to him, and I told him the story.
Oh, yes, that's right. What is it that you did for the Huddleston firm, Mrs. Wolek?
I modeled dresses.
And how long did you model dresses for the Huddleston firm?
I don't remember. I guess it was several months.
Yeah. Then perhaps you could explain to this court why no one at the Huddleston firm remembers your ever having worked for them. Why no one there has ever heard of you. And while you're at it, Mrs. Wolek, perhaps you will also explain why since the time you came to Llanview up until now, there is absolutely no record in the Huddleston Company files of your ever having been employed by them. The court is waiting for your explanation.
It's true. It's true. I never worked for the Huddleston Company.
In other words, you lied to this court. And I submit that if you could lie about one thing, you would be lying about everything else. In fact, your testimony could be one long tissue of lies.
No, it's not true. It's not true. Katrina came to me. She told me she knew who killed Marco. She told me it was Talbot Huddleston. Viki Riley didn't kill Marco. She couldn't kill anybody. Please, you've got to believe me. It was Talbot Huddleston.
Order. Order in this court.
Your Honor, Mr. Callison has thoroughly succeeded in placing the witness, putting her through a great emotional strain.
On the contrary, the witness, with some assistance, has put herself in this position. Had she been a truthful witness, this might never have happened.
Gentlemen, I have warned both of you repeatedly about this kind of behavior. I am declaring this court in recess for 1 hour. I would like to see both of you in my chambers.
All rise.
Karen, darling, why did you do it? You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have.
Larry!
Joe, I can't let Karen go back up there. When Paul Martin comes back, I've got to talk to him because there must be a way to stop this.
Vicki, there isn't anything you can do to stop Karen from taking the stand again. The thing I'm curious about is why you want to.
Didn't you see what she was going through up there, what Callison was doing to her?
Yes, I saw it. I've also noticed how tense you've been ever since she took the stand. Why?
Because she's my friend.
Come on, Vicki, there's more to it than that. Karen obviously lied about her relationships with Talbot Huddleston and Marco Dane. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you knew about those relationships before she took the stand. Now, that was critical to your defense, but you didn't tell me. Why?
Joe, you're just going to have to trust me, at least until this is over.
Larry? I don't know any more than you do. I don't know what to think or what to say.
Well, even if we knew what to say, it might be a mistake. She hasn't finished testifying yet.
Karen loves you very much. Larry, that is important no matter what happens.
No matter what happens?
She never knew love her whole life until she met you. Not even as a child at home. Not with Mom or Dad or even me. I remember that I used to pray very hard that she wouldn't have to go through life without knowing what it was like to love somebody.
You didn't have to come here to defend her.
I'm not defending her.
What are you doing?
I guess what I'm doing is appealing to you not to jump to any conclusions. More than anything she ever wanted in her life, she wanted to be your wife, and she still wants to be your wife.
What's the latest in couture? In 10.
Greg, it's almost time to go back to the courtroom.
Tina, I'm not even sure I want to go back.
I know you don't, Greg, but we've got to.
Tina, all my life, my father's been my idol. I've looked up to him. I've even wanted to be like him. And now I just don't even know anymore. I am so confused.
Greg, if we don't go back in there, you're just gonna stay confused.
Yeah, but you know what I'm thinking about? Thinking about all those times that my mother had been drinking, and she would accuse my father of cheating on her. And I just thought then it was because she'd had too much to drink. Well, I don't know.
Greg, I know what you're going through. There was a time when I found out that my dad wasn't all I thought he was. It just about finished me. And I can only hope that nothing like that ever happens to you.
Thank you for hoping. But, Tina, you have the same doubts I do, don't you?
Mrs. Wolek, I know this has been an arduous experience for you, but I'm afraid there has been no real clarification on the three major questions on which I've been questioning you, namely, why Katrina Carr called you on December 15th, that night, why you later called Talbot Huddleston regarding Katrina as opposed to someone with whom you were more closely acquainted, and finally, but most importantly, your relationship with the deceased Marco Dane after he arrived in Llanview.
Your Honor, it seems to me that learned counsel has covered all three of these areas more than adequately, and it certainly is not going to profit anybody in this courtroom for him to go over.
Your Honor, I believe this witness's testimony simply cannot be left dangling. She has seriously impugned the reputation of a respected member of this community.
The court is in agreement, Mr. Callison. You may continue your cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now then, Mrs. Wolek, I would like to begin by disposing of the Huddleston matter once and for all. Now, just prior to the recess, you stated that Talbot Huddleston killed Mark O'Dane. Now, I think I can safely assume that you don't have any incontrovertible evidence with which to support that charge, or surely you would have presented it to us. Yes?
Only Katrina Carr could prove that.
But unfortunately, Katrina Carr is lying comatose in Llanview Hospital and is therefore unable to do that. Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
Well, then, perhaps you could tell us why you think Talbot Huddleston killed Mark O'Dane.
I don't know what reason he may have had.
Oh. Well, was he acquainted with Marco?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I saw him several times at Marco's health club.
I see. You were in the habit of going to the health club, were you?
No, I was not in the habit of going to the health club. I happened to see him there.
What, were you a member of the health club?
No!
Well, that was a rather emphatic no. If you weren't a member, why did you go there? Now, Mrs. Wolek, you did state earlier that you and Mark O'Dane were not on close terms, did you not?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Then what earthly reason would you have for going to his health club?
He called me. I went there a couple of times.
He called you about what?
I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Oh, well, surely you must remember something. I mean, a man like that. This is a man who was an important part of your past, a man who followed you all the way to Llanview. Now, I would think that if he asked you to come and see you about something in his office, you wouldn't easily forget what that something was.
Marco had a sadistic streak. He, enjoyed reminding me about the past.
Reminding you? How?
He would, he said he was never going to let me forget it.
I think you can be a little more specific than that. In fact, isn't it true that Mark O'Dane was blackmailing you?
No.
I must remind you that you are under oath, Mrs. Wolek. Now, can you swear before this court that after you got married to Dr. Wolek, Mark O'Dane never once threatened you, never once threatened to go to your husband and tell him about your past?
All right, yes, he threatened to go to my husband.
And how did you respond to those threats?
I begged... Excuse me. I begged him not to go to Larry.
No. Did you pay him to keep quiet?
No, I did not pay him. I didn't have the financial means to pay him.
And how did he respond to the fact that you refused to be blackmailed by him?
He was very angry, but he never did go to my husband.
Oh, in other words, he took pity on you, and out of the goodness of his heart, he left you off the hook.
I don't know what was going on in his mind. I just know that he didn't go to my husband.
Well, I beg to differ with you, Mrs. Wolek, but the state finds it difficult to believe that a man like Mark O'Dane, a man who came to Llanview with the express purpose of getting even with someone, would suddenly find it in his heart to let that someone off the hook. As a matter of fact, I believe a man like Mark O'Dane would find a way to put that person on the hook, so to speak. Now, Mrs. Wolek, did you ever have occasion to meet with Mark O'Dane at places other than the health club?
I told you before I saw him. Several times he came into Tony's place.
Uh-huh. Any other places?
Well, yes, I may have seen him walking downtown on the street.
What about the Wallington Hotel?
What?
Oh, God, I can't watch this.
Easy, please. Yes, Mrs. Wolek, the Wallington Hotel. Did you ever have occasion to meet Mark O'Dane there?
I don't really know.
You don't really know. When it suits you, Mrs. Wolek, there's a great deal that you don't really know.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection sustained. Will you get on with it, Counselor?
Very well, Your Honor. I will get on with it because I, too, believe that it's time the truth came out as to why this witness took the stand in the first place. Now then, Mrs. Wolek, you mentioned earlier that when you were looking for Katrina Carr, you first tried to reach her at her hotel. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
What was the name of that hotel?
The Wallington.
We didn't hear you. What was that name? Would you speak up, please?
The Wallington Hotel.
Thank you. Now, I have here a police emergency report dated February 17, 1978. This report states that on said night, you were the victim of an assault in the alleyway behind the Riverette Bar. Do you recall that incident?
Yes, I do.
The report goes on to say that you stated it was an attempted rape. Yet when the police wished to question you further in order to pursue this matter, you told them that you simply wanted to drop the whole thing. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Why, Mrs. Wolek? Didn't you want to see justice done?
Yes, I wanted to see justice done. It was a very traumatic experience for me. I wanted to forget all about it.
Well, I'm sure it was a very traumatic experience. But was it really an attempted rape?
You've got the police report right there.
Yes. Yes, indeed I do. Mrs. Wolek, does the name Aldo Pearson mean anything to you?
You obviously know that it does.
And what about the following names? Roy Gladstone, Joel Diamond, Slim Jenkins, Bob Williams.
You needn't go on, Mr. Callison.
You have been acquainted with all of these men, haven't you?
You obviously know that I have. I don't see why you have any reason to ask.
I have a reason to ask because I believe the court and the jury has the right to know why you felt compelled to take the stand in defense of Victoria Riley and what your real relationship was with Marco Dane. Now, I could go on and on and on and on asking you questions, Mrs. Wolek, but it would make it a lot easier for everybody concerned if you would stop lying to this court.
I am not lying. I came here to see justice done. Viki Riley didn't kill anybody. Why can't you understand that?
The innocence or guilt of Mrs. Riley will be determined by this jury, but not until you have been given all the facts. Now, isn't it a fact that there was a great deal more to your relationship with Marco Dane than you have admitted?
Yes, 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 yes!
All right, Mrs. Wolek. Will you now tell the court what that relationship was and what it had to do with Mrs. Riley, or shall I do it?
There is no need for you to do that, Mr. Callison. I will tell them. It is true. You are right. Marco Dane was blackmailing me.
But not because of what he knew about your past.
No, not because of what he knew about my past. He learned that I was...
You were what, Mrs. Wolek?
I was soliciting men. You see, when I came to Llanview, I was very lonely and very frightened. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I had made up my mind to stop. But Marco had found out what I was doing. And he threatened to go to my husband and tell him about my past with him in Denver. And he wouldn't let me stop. I begged him. I asked him to please let me stop, but he...
You had become a valuable source. You had become a valuable source of income to him, hadn't you?
How much more do you want, Mr. Callison? Haven't I said what everyone wants to hear? What you want everyone to hear? That I am a common
hooker like Katrina Carr, that Marco Dane was my pimp. Is that what you want me to say? What do you want from me? You want blood? You want me to say that I'm lower than the lowest piece of scum? You want more filth? You want more slime? You want more names? I'll give you another name. Talbot Huddleston! He was my first John. He was the first in a string of so many men I don't even remember their names. No! No! Are you satisfied?